Now at 6, an MSSU building temporarily closes after an SUV crashes into it. Plus, a local biker shares his story of a scary wreck as we look at Motorcycle Safety Month and why the Missouri Department of Conservation looks to raise its prices for hunting and fishing permits.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
MSSU's Mays Student Life Center building temporarily closes after an SUV crashes into it. This is KOAM News at 6. I'm Dow Quick. That crash happened just before 11 a.m. today when a motorcycle and an SUV collided at Newman Road and Duquesne Road. After the crash, the SUV then continued and crashed into the Mays Student Life Center at MSSU. Look at that. Both the motorcyclist and SUV driver were taken to the hospital. Authorities say they were both able to communicate when they were taken off the scene. No word yet on the severity of the injuries. May is Motorcycle Safety Awareness Month, and this area has seen its share of motorcycle accidents. KOAM's Amber Jenkins spoke to some 4-staters about motorcycle safety. She joins us live at 4th and Schifferdecker in Joplin with more.
A motorcycle crash can impact a biker for a lifetime, and the road to recovery can be long, but I spoke to a biker who didn't let his recent crash stop his passion.
A truck made a left turn in front of me, and I had to lay my bike down to avoid hitting the truck, and pretty much don't remember anything after that.
Danny Tanner was riding his motorcycle to Joplin when he collided with a truck. He tried to lay down his bike by hitting the brakes and changing the direction of the bike.
He just made a left turn right in front of me. I really don't know anything after that. I hit my head, and when I woke up, everybody was standing over me. That's all I remember.
Tanner isn't just a biker, but is known to his community as Harley Santa. For 3 years, him and his wife hand out candy to kids on their bikes during the holiday season.
Love to see the little kids' smiles, and even the adults. It brings out the kids and the adults.
Harley Santa is still recovering, but he thinks he'll be healed up right before Christmas. However, even though he walked away from his crash, that's not the story for every biker. Since the start of May, there's been at least 4 motorcycle accidents in the 4 states that changed lives forever. One of the accidents included Larry Bellamy II, who was riding his bike at Schifferdecker and 4th Street in Joplin, where he was hit by an ice cream van. According to police, the ice cream van pulled out in front of the motorcycle out of neglect. The motorcycle then T-boned the van. Unfortunately, Bellamy died due to his injuries. The driver of the ice cream van was issued a citation for a failure to yield. Now, I spoke to Bellamy's mother, and she told me that her son loved motorcycles and been riding since he was like 3 years old. In fact, he learned his passion from his dad, who he's named after. Now, we're here at his memorial at Schifferdecker and 4th in Joplin. It's very beautiful. He was a father, a grandfather, a son, and an uncle. Reporting in Joplin, Amber Jenkins, KOAM News.
Amber, thank you so much. Let's check in with Chief Meteorologist Doug Hetty for a first look at the weather.
Well, it definitely turned out to be another warm one for us today. Also, again, some isolated thunderstorms, especially late morning into the early afternoon hours. They have calmed down just a little bit, but we still have a few isolated little guys out there. Most of you are going to stay dry as we go through the evening hours, but this trend over the next several days, afternoon pop-up storms will stick around. 84 in Nevada, we're at 81 in Neosho, we're at 84 in Miami. Parsons is sitting at about 85 degrees. We can go outside looking at Joplin. A few cumulus clouds, but overall it looks pretty good. 85 degrees. And as we go through the evening hours, we slide back through the 70s into the 60s. Most of us are going to have partly cloudy skies, but thunderstorm chances sticking around the next few days. We're going to talk about that here in just a bit.
Catch in a few. The Missouri Department of Conservation proposes a price hike for most fishing and hunting licenses. The proposal comes after 20 years of keeping the same prices. MDC officials say most resident permit prices would increase about $1, while non-resident prices would climb about $2. They say the prices would still be affordable compared to surrounding states, and they say the hike is needed to maintain programs and services.
Right now, the next step is we would like to get input from the public during a public comment period. And residents who would like to submit their comments about increasing our permit prices can do so on our website.
Residents are able to leave those comments from July 4th through August 2nd. Parsons, Kansas auctioneer is making a name for himself. Justin Dodson. He's heading down to Florida next week to compete in the World Livestock Auctioneer Championship. He and other auctioneers are getting together to not only compete, but also engage, learn, and bring attention to agriculture and livestock from the local level all the way up to the national level.
It's going to be quite a competition. There's a lot of great auctioneers there from Canada, across the United States, from California, Pennsylvania, just everywhere. You know, super guys and very competitive. But like I said earlier, it's a close-knit group of guys.
Justin Dodson is going to be competing against some of the best auctioneers in the world. Dodson has been the runner-up before, but this year he's going to try to get his first ever title as world champion. If you're in the market for a house, the Crider Technical Education Center might have the one for you in a small sense. The trades program with the college has 2 tiny houses that are going to go up for auction. An open house was held today to showcase those houses. The houses are 12 feet by 24 feet and include a full and a 3/4 bath, 11 by 11 loft, sleeping quarters, a washer and dryer, a hookup, kitchen, and more.
Our students start in August, the first week of class. They start on these houses. We have 2 classes. We have a morning class and an afternoon class, so they each build one of the houses. So they start in August and they work all year, and they just finished them up here in May.
The online auction for the cabins began today, runs through June 30th at noon. Minimum bid is $25,000 per cabin. You can find a link to the online auction at KOAMnewsnow.com. Coming up, the Oklahoma Supreme Court rules on the constitutionality of 2 abortion laws in the state. Plus, authorities find the body of a missing Cassville, Missouri doctor. The Oklahoma Supreme Court rules that 2 laws further limiting abortions in the state are unconstitutional. One of those laws prohibits abortions after a heartbeat is detected. The other bans abortions in almost all cases. The court found those laws conflict with previous decisions, one of which found a pregnant woman has an inherent right to end a pregnancy when her life is in danger. Governor Kevin Stitt says he, quote, wholeheartedly disagrees with the Oklahoma Supreme Court's use of activism to create a right to an abortion in Oklahoma, end quote. The body of a Cassville, Missouri physician who'd been missing for more than a week has been discovered now in northwest Arkansas's Beaver Lake. Dr. John Forsyth disappeared on May 21st after his ER shift at Mercy Hospital in Cassville. A kayaker found his body yesterday. The Benton County Sheriff's Office says he died from an apparent gunshot wound. Elizabeth Van Mitri talked to people who witnessed the discovery, and she looks at what's next in the investigation.
Seen him a few times in the ER, and you know, I have family members that work at the clinic.
Jimmy Cotton has spent the last few days at Beaver Lake, but he lives near Cassville. And like many, he's been following the case of the missing Dr. John Forsyth closely.
It's pretty crazy. I mean, he just disappeared out of nowhere, and then now this yesterday.
So I'm going to walk you through what we know so far. We know that Dr. Forsyth left his job at the Mercy ER here in Cassville right behind me. He made his way across the street to his RV, which is located right here. Now you see these people standing here. That is with the Benton County Sheriff's Office. They are doing their own investigation as we speak. A witness says that his black Infiniti was seen right behind here after 7:30. And as of Tuesday, Dr. Forsyth's body was found on Beaver Lake at Lost Bridge South. It's a windy 36-minute drive from Cassville to Lost Bridge, where Dr. Forsyth's body was found in the water by a kayaker. The sheriff's office says Dr. Forsyth had an apparent gunshot wound.
Sitting here and I seen cop cars come flying in here like crazy.
Julie Sizemore says her family visits here a lot, but it's usually calm.
Never have ever anything happen like this, ever.
Detectives say things are complicated because this case has crossed state lines.
In law enforcement, we are. We're always working with other agencies. We all have the same goal in mind, and that's solving a crime or a disappearance in this case.
Witnesses say the weekend was busy at the lake and the body was found in a popular swimming cove, leaving more questions than answers.
The body was taken to the Arkansas Crime Lab this morning for an autopsy. A little bit later, the Webb City Cardinals boys team looks ahead to their first Final Four appearance since 2010.
Plus, the heat sticks around, plus thunderstorms in the forecast. We're going to look at that coming up. Well, it's turned out to be a nice Wednesday so far. Temperatures mid-80s for highs, about 85 to about 87 across the region. We did have a few isolated thunderstorms, especially late morning into the early afternoon, but those have been calming down just a bit. And we need the rain. None today officially in Joplin, even though the east side of the city did get some rain. 4.3 inches for the month of May, which is pretty good. We're just 6 inches behind where we should be for this time of the year. Now, we do have plenty of rain chances in the forecast, but each day they're pretty scattered across the region. 84 in Nevada, 81 in Neosho, Carthage 83, 84 in Miami. We have Independence at 86, Iola at 83, and our humidity is ticked up a little bit. You can see our dew points kind of in that 60 to 65 degree range, which puts us kind of in that not bad to a little bit sticky. Of course, the humidity, the stickiness really increases through the summer months. 85 outside, southerly winds at about 10. Visibility is great at 10 miles. Through the evening, we drop through the 80s, 70s, eventually back into the mid-60s for overnight lows. And again, we still have a few isolated little thunderstorms out there. Most of us are dry, a little complex up near Stockton Lake, a couple little guys out across Greenwood County in southeastern Kansas. Besides that, we look pretty good. Thunderstorms really getting going out through the panhandles of Oklahoma and Texas, and these are pushing east, but are going to fall apart before they make it here. So I think most of us stay mainly dry tonight. But look at this upper level low, a change finally out west. So this is pushing little waves toward us, which is going to give us pop-up thunderstorms just about each and every day over the next several days. Let's go through the evening into the overnight hours. Again, most of us dry tonight. We'll start the day into the mid-60s. We'll go to about the noon hour for you tomorrow. A couple little isolated showers and thunderstorms starting to pop up. A little bit more numerous once we get into mid to late afternoon, but notice most of these are on the Kansas and the Oklahoma side, not a whole bunch in southwestern Missouri. As we get into the evening hours, we lose the heating of the day, and these will pretty much fizzle apart, and then we roll into Friday morning, and we do it again. Friday afternoon, a couple isolated thunderstorms start to pop up across the region. These are going to be very hit and miss as we go through the next couple days, and then chances stick around even into the weekend. All right, day planner on your Thursday, 67 at 7, high temp right around 86 degrees. We're going to hold into the 80s all the way into the weekend, but also those rain chances are going to stick around. Could be a little bit more widespread once we get into Saturday afternoon. And then by Sunday into Monday, the thunderstorms press a little bit farther toward the west, so we'll start to dry out just a little bit early next week. All right, let's go 86s. Tomorrow on Friday, 84 on Saturday, 86 on Sunday. We hold mid-80s all the way through most of next week. Thunderstorm chances through the weekend, a little bit of a break, pick up again late next week. But we need the rain, so we'll take it whenever we can get it.
Absolutely, and temps in the mid-80s, yeah, that sounds all right.
Yeah, it's not bad.
Thanks, Judd. Still had Coach of the Year honors for Southeast Kansas High School softball coach, and Webb City Baseball prepares for their first state semifinal appearance since 2010. Jacob Leonard has that and more up next.
It's a very competitive league with a lot of great leaders, and
Well, the Webb City Cardinals are still alive for a baseball state championship. The Cardinals face St. Francis Borgia on Friday afternoon in the Missouri Class 5 state semifinals. Now, for the Cardinals, it's their first appearance in the Final Four since 2010. They head into the weekend with a 22-13 overall record, and the Cards definitely battle-tested. Webb City has found a way to win some tight playoff games, and they put themselves through a tough regular season schedule to be ready for opportunities like this.
You know, we've had a lot of close games all year. You know, we've lost, 4 or 5 one-run games, a couple of 2-run games, and we've been fortunate to win a couple of one-run games too. So, the way we kind of built our schedules to play tough teams, that's just kind of a byproduct of playing tough teams, throughout the year and in our conference. Those are tough games, so they're going to be close, but that's the reason why we play them. So, it's good for the kids, and so, you get to the playoffs and, all of a sudden now you're in a tight game and you're used to it. You're not scared of it.
6 local college baseball players have earned ABCA All-Region honors today. Missouri Southern has 4 on the All-Central Region team, while Pittsburgh State has 2. Now, for Missouri Southern, pitcher Cole Woods is a first-team All-Region selection. Woods was 10-3 this season on the mound with a 3.71 ERA. Nixon Brandon is a first-team All-Region pick at catcher for the Gorillas. Brandon was also the MIAA Co-Player of the Year. Rounding out the first team, Nate Miskowski and Matt Miller on the infield for the Lions, and Cade Clemens, a first-teamer at shortstop for PSU. The Southern shortstop Henry Kuziak earned second-team All-Region honors. The CNC coaches released their All-Conference softball awards this week. The Frontenac Raiders have a league-high 8 players on the All-Conference list, and they have the league's Coach of the Year. Frontenac head coach Cassie Rooms has been named the CNC Softball Coach of the Year. Rooms led the defending state champions to an 18-4 overall record. The Raiders were co-league champions with Columbus and finished as regional runner-up. We caught up with Coach Rooms to talk about being Coach of the Year and putting 8 of her players on the all-conference list.
It's a very competitive league with a lot of great leaders, and I appreciate the opportunity to be a part of it, and I appreciate them recognizing me, but realistically it comes down to the kids, and as long as my kids get what they deserve and get on what the list that I feel like that they deserve to be on, that's really all that matters. All coaches around the state are ultimately starting to recognize that kids that come from our league or whichever team makes it out of our regional is going to be a contender at the state tournament. And we're thankful to be a part of a great league and great coaches, and like you said, there's a lot of really good players in our area, so it makes it a lot of fun day in and day out.
I tell people all the time softball is my favorite season, and it's because we have a bunch of good softball players around here. It's a great time.
And obviously some good coaches, too.
Yeah.
Despite what Rooms says, he's very humble, but he's very good. We'll be right back. Here's a look at what's coming up on KOAM News at 9 on Fox 14. We're going to have more on the proposal by the Missouri Department of Conservation to raise the prices of fishing and hunting permits. Plus, how the World Health Organization is leading a global effort to combat smoking. Those stories, a lot more coming up tonight on KOAM News at 9 on Fox 14. I've always thought pop-up storms is a little bit of a misnomer because rain doesn't pop up. Generally, it falls down. Nevertheless, pop-up storms.
But the clouds pop up.
Oh, do they?
Yeah.
And then they unload.
Okay. Yes.
There you go, science.
Some more pop-up thunderstorms for us over the next couple days. Temperatures staying mainly into the mid-80s. Chances sticking around all the way through the weekend.
Final sports note.
The Joplin Outlaws just one day away from the season opener. They play the Des Moines Prospects 7 p.m. tomorrow night, Joe Becker Stadium. We'll be live out there for the 6 o'clock news tomorrow night.
It's exciting.
I know. I've been waiting for it. It's finally here.
A lot of fans have. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you right back here at 10. Let's make it a great evening.